Welcome back to Skyrim and this lovely little lake, and this is where Legs has been living for the past 3 months. He began to dominate the area after wiping out the local slaughterfish population. Gonna fucking waterboard him with air. As well as anything that got too close. Except of course for Benjamin, the water-breathing rabbit. He is one of the boys.
I love stabbing animals.
Legs has been keeping himself occupied by moonwalking on the lake bed and watching battles on the shore. Go, Mudgrab, go. But for Legs, the most fun he's had has been swimming down to Riverwood to jump out of the river to scare the local children and play catch the fireball with them. They seemed to rather enjoy it. At least they did until Legs accidentally sneezed one day and shouted their dog to death. Apparently this is a no-go and the child pulled a knife. Now that he was apparently not wanted in the village, Legs decided to get out of there while he could. I escape into the river. This is not as deep as I was hoping it would be. And on his way back to the lake, he remembered that one of the town guards the day before had told him about a group known as the Dawnguard.
Vampire hunters or something.
And now that Legs couldn't go back to do his favourite activity and burn the faces of small children, he decided to go and investigate this Dawnguard. So, hopping on Seahorse, he set off for adventure, and soon Legs met the friendly neighbourhood orc.
What's a milk drinker like you doing?
Seahorse, we have to get the fuck out of here. And with that done, Legs continued, only stopping to say hi to Benjamin. Benjamin, what the fuck are you doing out here? And kill some very aggressive Thalmor. After which, Legs was attacked by an assassin. And worse than all, the assassin was an Argonian. You absolute fucking traitor. With the lizard betrayer now dead as a dinosaur, these little distractions were now finished. Oh, there's a hole, Benjamin. Look out for the hole. And we soon arrived at Dayspring Canyon. We were now almost at Fort Dawnguard, so after singing both the German and Irish national anthems, Legs tried to avoid a Warmblood who came out of the snow. It's a bit snowy.
You here to join the Dawnguard too?
Huh?
Truth is,
What? Why are you following me? These people are weird. Benjamin, how did you beat me here? That rabbit. Oh, Benjamin. Arriving inside the fort, we saw... This bearded man was known as Isran, and he was the leader of the Dawnguard. But the game didn't give Legs the option to inform him of his baldness, so instead he offered him his help. So Isran told the random psychotic salamander that came out of absolutely nowhere and knew nothing about the situation to go and investigate a cave full of blood-sucking parasitic vampires.
Seemed to think it was related to.
We were then told by mutton chops here that the cave in question was Dim Hollow Crypt. Legs decided that fighting a bunch of vampires must be easier than fighting a dragon. But before heading off on this very important quest, he decided to go and loot absolutely everything he could find within this fort. Because what's more important than vampires? Personal gain. With his personal gain complete, Legs made his way to the Hall of the Vigilance, which turned out to be rather crisp. Damn, that's one ugly ass dog. After which, Legs looted the weird dogs, vigilance and vampires, and then headed off towards the cave, which I didn't remember how to get to. Where the fuck are we going now? Idiot, what way? Benjamin, how the fuck did you get here so fast? God damn. Fuck, I passed it. After completely missing the cave, I turned around and eventually made my way to it. Is this the right place? Once inside, a battle with the vampires soon began, and after softening them up from a distance with my newly acquired crossbow, Legs got to work asking them some questions. Why you do this? With the room cleared, we soon found old Mutton Chops dead on the floor. The fool had ran in and got himself killed. Oh, this is the guy. This is Sideburns. Sorry, Sideburns, you should have just not died. You're still alive then. With that revelation complete, we carried on our way deeper into the cave. I am a fucking marksman, hoping to find out what the vampires were looking for. But to do so, we had to first cut through quite a lot of little bony boys and their vampiric masters, as well as their dogs and everything else inside, which was going a lot better than I originally expected. I'm getting so much loot out of this. This is epic, Lydia. I haven't died yet either. This is amazing, mate. I'm usually shit at this game. But soon Legs defeated the last of the vampire menace within the cave, and we were then faced with a puzzle. I don't remember how I do this. And after cutting my hand, the puzzle was rather easy, as it literally lights what you need to do. So after pushing around these braziers, the puzzle was soon complete. And with that, the ground began to sink. And soon in the center of the puzzle there appeared a big box, where inside there was a vampire with an elder scroll on her back. It's a Serana in a box. And even though this is a DLC about the Dawnguard, who were vampire hunters, I cannot hunt this particular vampire, as the game won't let me.
Kill me.
Yeah, I feel like if I was actually in this situation, I would just kill her. It's a fucking vampire. But since the game won't let us finish our job, we decide to help the vampire out and take her home. But of course, to do so, we have to fight our way out. Gargoyles are a pain in the arse, and they're the strongest thing in this DLC. Oh, I missed. Oh, fuck. I missed. Help. Help. You two killed. He jumped her. He fucking jumped her. This isn't fucking leapfrog. Fuck off. But with the main threat dead, we were now able to fight our way to the exit. So after murdering quite a few bony boys, we were soon out into the wild again.
Aren't we there yet?
What do you mean, aren't we there yet? We've only just got outside. So off we went to take Serana home. And on the way we met the local one-eyed woman.
What's a milk drinker like?
And with that done, we soon faced the true enemy of the Argonian, Ice Wraith. One thing I don't like fighting. Oh, I'm fucking dead. Ah, yes, the Ice Wraith. The true enemy of the fucking Argonian. Where is everyone else? And with our true enemy finally defeated, we met a random vampire who went for a morning jog. Wait, is this a completely different vampire? Where did you come from? Why are you not attacking me? You're just sort of just running this way. And after arriving at the shore and taking care of our true nemesis, the Nirnroot, evil bastard, die! Then I forgot about the boat that was parked on the shore that you're meant to take to Volkar Castle. Volkar? I don't fucking know. Once the gate guard saw Serana, he opened the door and let us inside. To my horror, the place was full of elves.
After all these years, that's the first thing you
Lot of
ask me.
Dunmer in here.
Yes, I have the scroll.
Why is the majority of people in here elves? But once the shock had dissipated, I spoke to Serana's father, Harkon, who had an odd thing for pacing back and forth. I'm not going to question it, he seemed to rather enjoy it. He thanked me for bringing his daughter to him, and then offered me a gift. He would give me some of his blood and turn me into a politician. But no matter how powerful Harkon claimed to be, there was no way Legs would want to look like that. His face is a bit like a rat. So Legs refused, and then Harkon teleported him outside, because apparently Harkon thought Legs was incapable of walking out the door himself. But now with Serana safely home and the Elder Scroll in the hands of the vampires, who definitely don't want to blot out the sun, Legs decided his mission was complete and headed back to Fort Dawnguard to explain to Isran what had transpired. Using a torch as a crossbow bolt, that is interesting. He was not very happy about the situation, and I think he actually realized his mistake of sending someone he didn't know and knew nothing about to go and deal with something of such importance. Not that he knew how important anything was, because he didn't do any research whatsoever.
When you didn't stop them, you didn't
Look,
secure
I would have
yourself.
100% stopped them, okay, mate? But the game did not give me a fucking option.
I have good men here.
You have like 3 guys.
There are people I've
Isran
met
then
who work
realized
with
he
them
didn't
for
have
years.
enough
If
people
you
for
can
the
find
job.
them,
And while
you
Legs
might
was a
have a chance.
Dragonborn and was
We should
completely
keep it
capable
small.
of storming the
Too
castle
many
and
people
defeating
will draw
everyone
more
inside,
attention
he
to
chose to not do so,
I
as
think
that
we'll
would have
want
been way
Sir
too boring.
Gerard.
Isran decided he needed 2 more people to defeat the vampires, Gunmar and Serene Gerard, and so Legs set off to go and find them. Gunmar was just outside of Ivarstead taking a shit next to a bear, and after killing the bear he would only agree to us helping him if we helped him kill 1 more. Right, there you are. Yeah, fuck. Well, we're just gonna leave that there. So after doing his job for him, we then set off to go and find Serene, who was busy researching the Dwemer somewhere in the Reach. And on the way, I ran into a random patrol of Forsworn, who for once didn't try and attack me. What is happening?
That's close enough.
That's close enough.
That's close
Deciding
enough.
to not look a gift lizard in the mouth, I soon became
That's
their
close
friend,
enough.
and even went swimming with one in the nearby river. I mean, taken by the waterfall. And once our swimming lessons were over, I found Serene Gerard.
Lying around, have you?
but she would only agree to join if I got her a Dwemer gyro, as hers had been stolen by mud crabs earlier. Oh, but would you look at that, her bag of gyros is literally right next to her, and with these two idiots recruited, we headed back to the fort. Why is it every time I come here it's fucking snowing? Where Isran wanted to show us his new spotlight.
Hold it right there.
What are you doing?
He's got a spotlight. Once Isran was done rambling, he told us that Serana had come to the fort looking for us.
We're going to get to the bottom of why a vampire showed up here looking for you.
So we headed up to Isran's room and into his special little dungeon that he had next to it. Hello, Suruni.
Probably weren't expecting to see me again.
There's a lot of alcohol in here.
This vampire
You have a problem, man. Speaking to
Probably weren't
Serana, she
expecting to see
informed
me
us that her
again.
father was a naughty
I'd rather
little
not be
boy,
here
and he
either.
was plotting to
wants
control the sun.
I'm sorry. I had heard there were vampire hunters here. I
No,
thought
they're
they might wanna
completely
know about a
incompetent.
vampire. I'm nothing if not persuasive.
I don't think you're persuasive at all, but could just kill her and take the scroll. Then go burn down their castle. I feel like that would sort a lot of these problems out. But you aren't going to let me do that yet. Because you're bald and incompetent. Yeah, he's looking away in shame.
Is there any reason I shouldn't kill this blood-sucking fiend right now?
Nope.
But of course, neither of us can read it.
I've actually read an Elder Scroll before. But the game has somehow forgotten that the Dragonborn did that. I've already read one. There was not a single problem. So we're going to go find a goth butterfly, and that will be what solves the problem.
Any idea how you're going to find a moth priest? Skyrim's a pretty big place.
Get a butterfly, paint it grey. But before we went off to find the moth, Legs decided he would put on some Dawnguard armor to try and fit in. I don't know how I could see. Helmet on, we headed to the College of Winterhold and spoke to the librarian, and asked him if he knew of the location of a moth priest.
What in oblivion do you need a moth priest for?
Our business is our own.
He told me there was one near Dragon's Bridge, but before I left I remembered I could sell him Elder Scrolls. I had no intention of selling him one, but I wanted to see what price he would offer. But because this game was extremely well made, you do not get to decide whether you want to accept his offer or not, and Shrek over here just decides to fucking take it. I then had to buy it back for 3,000 gold. I could have reloaded, but I did this to myself. With that complete, we went off in search of the elusive insect, and just outside of Dragon's Bridge we found that his carriage had been attacked, and he had been abducted by vampires, which we then tracked down to a cave nearby. These vampires were particularly challenging, and the only real problem was my inability to aim. And after we beat those fools, we went and freed the moth priest, who unfortunately was still under their spell, so we had to beat the shit out of him. And once that was done and he was back to his normal self, we headed back to Fort Dawnguard so we could finally read the scroll. Make sure to prepare everything you need to do this first, because it would be really dumb if you spent all your life learning how to read them properly and then not do it, and then go blind. That would be a terrible inconvenience and really stupid. And once we were ready, he created a scroll out of thin air, as the one we needed him to read was still on Serana's back. Wait, hold on. Where did you get that one? The priest told us that we needed to find Ariel's bow, but to do so we would need 2 other Elder Scrolls. I already had one, and Serana said her mother would have another. But the only problem was we didn't know where Serana's mother was. Well, our best guess was inside Castle Volkihar. So now that we had some idea of what we were meant to do, we swam our way to the back entrance of Castle Volkihar, which was in a fairly bad state, because apparently being a powerful immortal vampire means you can't keep things well maintained. And once we stepped ashore, we defeated all of the undead guards, making them very much undeader, and then did some target practice on some nearby birds. I don't know why, I just decided to do this. Oh, got another one. And with the target practice finished, we headed inside. Oh shit, it's a rat. The inside of this rundown part of the castle is absolutely full of dogs, as well as a very bald, very angry vampire. Get him, Serana. Damn, they really don't like me. Oh, I died. Oh, wow. Didn't see that coming. And once we ran out of dogs, we did the age-old Skyrim tradition of fighting a big-ass spider. Or at least Serana did. But the battle was soon over when I actually decided to help. Wow. Oh, you missed, bitch. See, I did it all myself. And then we arrived in the courtyard, and as Serana went on a rant about how dead everything looked, I ran around picking up a bunch of random little moons, and while Serana was still ranting, I placed the moons on the big ass sundial. This caused the stairs to open up in the middle of the courtyard. This part of the castle is full of quite a few skeletons, but thankfully they're weak as shit and can't put up much of a fight. Good job, Serana. The only thing I really have to worry about is the fucking gargoyles. Get him. Get him. You've got it. He's coming for me. Get him. Get him. Get him. He doesn't like me. Get him, Serana. You're doing great. And while I fight through the skeletons and gargoyles, I realise that the majority of this castle is in fucking ruins. It amazes me that Harkon's been this incompetent and that this much of his castle is in complete utter shambles. And then we run into another gargoyle. Get him. Help. 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 And once he's killed, Serana has been broken. You near finished sucking the life out of the wall, or? I don't know what caused this, but she refused to follow me or allow me to speak with her. And since she won't follow, I just go on without her and run into another bloody gargoyle. And since I don't want to die, I bring it back to her and she helps me kill it. And then I continue on again, but this time I loot way too much and have to go back to Serana to give her some items. But of course she's still broken and she won't let me. So I just dropped some stuff on the ground and carried on my way, fighting through a lot more little skellies. But I was really hoping that Serana would fix herself, so I waited for a bit and even reloaded the game. Come on, Serana. But it didn't work, so I just kept going. And can you guess what happens? Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. There's a room full of fucking gargoyles, and let's just say they're not very friendly. And since Legs likes living, he runs back to Serana. Serana. Who decides to actually be useful. Thank you, you've decided to do movement. So to get Serana moving, I beat the shit out of her. That sounds worse than it is, but it was actually the only way to get her to start working again. I don't know why this worked, but I assume Serana gained some sort of brain injury while trapped in a box for a couple thousand years. And then more gargoyles. But we get through them nonetheless, and after opening up a fireplace, we find our way into Serana's mother's laboratory. Deciding to ignore everything Serana said, I looted up absolutely everything and then became overweight. Serana, where did your mother get dragon bone? Going back to Serana, she wouldn't let me give her anything to hold, so she sent me off to look for a book instead. Finding the book, I brought it back to her, and yet again she wouldn't let me give her anything to hold. And instead she told me that her mother is probably in the soul cairn, which is where the souls from soul gems go when they're used up. And then she named off a list of all the ingredients we would need to complete the ritual to open up a portal. Luckily I had already stolen everything that we needed to do so. So I put the ingredients in a bowl and Serana bit herself. And with that the portal opened itself. But the problem is you can't get in without paying the ideal masters a soul. But luckily Serana had a way around that and partially trapped Leg's soul in a gem. The gem would then be given to the ideal masters and they would then let me in. But there would be a downside, and that is that I'd be weaker within the soul cairn. The only other option was to become a vampire, and I really didn't want to do that. So with all that done, in we go. It's a bit misty. This is the soul cairn and it's filled with quite a lot of little dead boys. And I decided it would be best to ignore most things and just go straight to Serana's mother, who just so happened to be imprisoned and trapped behind a magical wall.
Serana? Is it really you?
Valerica is very fucking annoying.
Come forward.
I'm already
with
right here. But she's definitely Serana's mother, as everyone in that family likes to walk about while they're talking. Valerica tells us that Harkon is trying to complete a prophecy that requires Serana's blood. She also tells us that she does have the scroll, but the only way for us to get in and get it is to get rid of this magical barrier. And to do that, we would have to go around the soul cairn and defeat the 3 keepers. Seems easy enough, so off we went. Or at least we did after the 2 stopped arguing. And as we leave, Valerica tells us that there is a dragon in the area. Oh, here I go killing again. Oh, he's gliding. He's a gliding skeleton. And after fighting through quite a lot of enemies, we eventually make it to the first keeper, who Legs kicks the absolute utter shit out of. He didn't stand a chance. And with the first one down, we made our way to the second. But this one was a little bit more painful. Luckily, I'm the Dragonborn and I just shouted him off of the side. And with the second one down, we made our way to the third. who, just like the first and second, wasn't that big of a problem. In fact, the biggest problem I had was trying not to get killed by his little minions. Serana, please. Don't let me get killed by this fucking mist man. Returning to Valerica, she was now free, so she took us inside to retrieve the scroll. Only problem was when we went inside, the dragon soon appeared. Thankfully, the dragon wasn't that big of an issue, as both Serana and Valera were both brilliant distractions. And the fight was a lot easier than I was originally expecting. And with him down, we went to get the scroll.
Come on, she's leading us to the scroll.
Yeah, we're at the scroll, it's in this box. And with the scroll finally in hand, we went to leave. But oh look, the dragon's not dead, and he's now our little friend. And after stealing my soul back, we left the soul cairn and went back to the Dawnguard. Oh, honey, I'm home. But when we brought the scrolls back to the mob priest, there was a slight problem. Would you look at that, he's fucking blind. Whoa, you're telling me you spent your whole life training to be able to do this properly, and you didn't do it properly? Wow! Our now mothless priest told us the only way to read the scrolls was to do the ancestor moth ritual, and the only place we could do that is in an ancestor's glade. But before we headed off, we gave Serana a new helmet. I've got a dumb helmet for you.
Alright, let's see what you have.
Folk got stupid helmets. At least I'm not the only one who's blind now. Right, what am I doing? Where am I going? Who the fuck knows? Find out next time on I Don't Know Where I Am. Eventually we mountain horsed our way to the glade and went on inside. Heading into the middle of the glade, we stole the special knife from the holy donut. Within the donut we shall get the thing. After which we peeled some bark off a tree and went around collecting moths like their Pokemon. And with that done, we walked into the light and read all of the scrolls. And somehow from all those bright lights we learned that Oriel's bow was in Darkfall's cave. But before we could set off, we were under attack, as Harkin had sent some of his minions to kill me. But luckily for us, and poorly for him, Legs is the fucking Dragonborn, and they don't stand a chance. Hi-ho, seahorse. Away! Afterwards, we headed to the cave. What the fucking little bastard you! We fought the spiders inside, and then we shouted Serana into a hole to test if the fall was dangerous. It was not, so Legs jumped in as well. This little river took us on a shortcut to spiders, and once they were dispatched, Serana did the weird thing with her eyes. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. And then we continued on. And with the trolls slain, we soon arrived at a snow elf sanctuary, where we met Gelibor, who immediately asked us to kill his brother for him.
I need you to kill Archcurate Vertha, my brother.
And of course we agreed, as in return we would get the bow. But first we'd have to actually get to his brother, and to do that we would need to take a ewer and fill it with water at 5 way shrines. So once Serana had officially offended the elf...
All that just to end up dumping it out? It makes no sense to me.
It's symbolic. I don't expect you to understand.
Don't be a cunt,
So,
Serana.
let's get this straight.
We headed on through the portal, and into yet another cave. And this cave system was full of quite a lot of insects, and a hell of a lot more Falmer. And things do go surprisingly well. At least they do, until Serana puts an ice spike in my back. Serana, why do I have a spike of ice sticking through my abdomen? And after defeating the Falmer that had killed me, Serana decided to get into a pen with some insects. And then she broke again. So once again I had to hit her brain into working, and then we continued on our way, and then I died again. And then we continued on our way. So, I know you're stupid, and you're going to set this off, but I did it myself. And after dying to the trap, and scaring an insect away, we soon took a shortcut to mushrooms. Rather unfortunate. And soon arrived at the way shrine after defeating a couple of cats. Wow, I hit it all the way from there. And once the shrine was opened by the ghost, we filled our ewer with some of its water. And with that done, we ascended up into the fresh air. I want to go back to the cave. After we successfully beat the troll, we headed off into the fog in search of the next way station. I would, I'd love to see the place. But it's full of fog, so I currently can't see shit. Ah! What is that? Another cat. Bitch. And once we found it, we filled our ewer with water and continued on to the next shrine. That didn't go so well because we soon ran into a load of spiders. Boom. The second time we tried to face the spiders, they had a cat on their side. Little pricks were teaming up. But this time I actually succeeded and beat the large leggy boy, or girl, probably girl. So after successfully beating the web out of them, we continued to the next way shrine. 3 down, we continued on, and soon I was ambushed by an ice wraith. Ah, fuck me. Luckily Legs is an Argonian, so he just hid underwater until Serana eventually killed it. And with that slight issue resolved, I summoned in Durnavir, our new little dragon friend, and decided to kill a giant. The giant wasn't doing anything to us, but I never actually used Durnavir before, so this was a good test of his skill. And by his skill, I mean him flapping around doing very little while one of his summoned skeletons slaps the giant in the back. It was rather effective. I mean, having a dragon necromancer about is pretty helpful. And with said murder complete, we soon arrived at the next way shrine. Now there was only one to go. But first we wandered over to this big frozen lake. Oh boy, I hope there's no dragons over here. Oh shit. But thankfully these dragons go down without a problem, dying like rats trying to headbutt a moving bullet. Legs being that bullet. Get fucked. And then we slurped up their souls. Give me a second. And off we went to the next way shrine. But the only problem was we had to go through quite a lot of mouthy little elves. If you could get down here please and stop running in place. Serana. But oh boy, there is quite a lot of them, and a lot more of their little bug friends. But thankfully I have a Serana with me and she helps me get past them. Thankfully we do manage to get to the next area, which contains more Falmer. Fuck. But hey, at least there's a troll. Wow. But one thing I do find quite enjoyable in this enclosed space is that it's very easy to shout the Falmer off the side of the cliff, and I attempt to do so at every chance I get. But with this area cleared, we once again go back outside, and oh would you look at that, there's even more Falmer. But yet again, they're not much of an issue, and I only get slightly lost and turned around before I realise the direction I'm meant to be going in. And after heading through the final cave, we arrive at the next way shrine, and with that we've gotten all 5. So off we go to the inner sanctum, across this surprisingly well maintained bridge. The bridge. And somehow this almost completely abandoned sanctum is in better condition than Harkon's castle. Really putting the snow into snow elves. Now that we were inside, I began to loot, and soon fought the frozen elfsicles. But the frozen Falmer themselves aren't really an issue. However, their little pet bugs are very poisonous, and that becomes a bit of a problem. But still we succeed. And oh look at that, another giant. Well obviously this is going to go just as well as the first time. Fuck. It's going to go just as well as the... You fucker. It goes just as well as the first time. And with that we go forth to confront Arch Curator Werther. Hello. Who just so happens to be doing an Elsa in his own little frozen kingdom. And after he says a load of stuff that I probably should have been listening to, the battle soon begins. And this is where the poison from the chorus becomes an even bigger problem, as I have to use quite a lot of healing potions to try and not die. And while the Falmer themselves aren't that big of an issue, their sheer numbers is. But nevertheless, we still do a fairly good job. At least that is until Werther spawns in his ancient frozen popsicle. He was really bloody strong, but I did not think he could get out of the room.
You can fit through there!
So once he did, I completely fucking panicked, and ended up running myself into a corner where I got trapped.
Come on, you're blocking me in, this is bullshit.
But after using quite a lot of my healing potions, I eventually beat the ancient popsicle. And with him dead, the rest of the Falmer fall fairly easily. And then Werther decides he wants to do some home decorating and tears down the ceiling. He then talks a bunch of nonsense and then Serana picks him up,
All this time for
which he doesn't seem to like. And then the battle begins and holy shit he hurts, but thankfully nowhere near as much as that fucking popsicle.
Fucking hell, he's kicking my ass.
So once he's finally axed from the game's cast, we steal all of his shit.
God, this looks ridiculous on me.
And then Gelibor appeared and we obtained the bow. With all of this done and the bow finally in hand, Serana decides it's time to kill her father.
face my father. It's not easy.
It's not
But I don't
easy
think we
being
have much of a
cheesy.
choice.
But I am nowhere near prepared and I've gathered up quite a lot of loot over my journeys. So it's time for a shopping montage.
Oh, it's a montage song. 'Tis a song about a montage. Montage. How the fuck do you pronounce that? I don't know. It's a fucking montage. A song about a it's a song about a montage. That's it.
We now have 27,000 gold. As well as a shit ton of potions. So I should be good, I think. And with that we return to Isran, who is in complete awe of our greatness.
Oriel's bow. The men deserve to know that we finally gained the upper hand.
I've done all the fucking work.
Gather round.
You've just sat here in this place. You haven't even cleaned up the cobwebs. What is this? You've left this place an absolute mess still. And once he calmed down, he gave his men a speech and Legs shouted into the air. And then Legs led the charge straight to the vampire's gates. The gargoyles and vampires outside were quickly dealt with, after which I got distracted and went around looting everything. And once that was done, I headed on inside, and immediately faced down a very vicious dog. But with that one small death out of the way, the vampires were quickly cut down. Well, almost all of them. We still had to deal with Harkon, which when we were finally face to face, he immediately started ranting. Which Legs had no time for this, so we immediately attacked. And I do have to say that Harkon is a little bitch. We spent the entire fight with him trying to run away from me, as he attacked from a distance and sent his minions in to do the job for him. In fact, the most dangerous thing in this battle is Harkon's gargoyles, but with a swift knee to the face, they were quickly dealt with. And this now meant that Harkon was left with no other option but to engage in melee, which was an extremely bad decision on his part, as Legs is an absolute killing machine, and with the help of Serana, he was soon defeated. Then Isran walked into the room and said this.
So,
No, is that it? He then quickly left without saying another word. What is happening? I then tried to speak with Serana, but she wouldn't let me. So I went searching around the castle for the members of the Dawnguard, and to my surprise they were completely gone. But during my search I was able to steal quite a few of Serana's family possessions. Seriously though, where is everyone? Apparently everyone really is just gone. But then I went to Fort Dawnguard and they still weren't there. What the fuck is going on? But luckily when I headed back to Castle Volkahar, Serana would now speak with me. Anyways, I'm gonna go do something. And with that, we headed outside. Anyways, that's what you get for fucking leaving me. Now you ain't got no son. And now with everything finished, Legs hopped onto his noble steed and set off into the sea. And with that, we have completed the DLC. The Argonian is truly stronger than the vampire.
Heard they're reforming the Dawnguard.
So, editing sheep here, I reloaded the save of me swimming off into the ocean on the horse, and number one, it spawned me in Riverwood for some fucking reason, and number two, Legs was doing this. I couldn't stop him from doing this, and this was just, I don't know why this happened. And also, if my voice sounds weird at certain parts of this, it's because halfway through COVID decided it wanted to be relevant again and I got infected, which was rather annoying. But yeah, if you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Just his fierce Baltic out here. It'd be great if the Dragonborn got the option to end the civil war by just threatening to kill everyone. I feel like that'd be the best way. Make it a three-way civil war. Everyone loves a threesome. Don't call me a milk drinker. We only drink sap.
Who's there?
Well, it's the Falmer. We've established this already. Pew! Pew! Pew!